How y'all doing?
Yes, welcome to the I Am Surviving Vegan podcast. I am your host, Orisha Oshun. I am Surviving Vegan on Instagram.
And I am Surviving Vegan _ Grizzy the King. You know Grizzy the King.
THA the King.
The King.
And I just want to say thank you all so very much. We are on episode number 12 of the I Am Surviving Vegan podcast. And I want to just say thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, iCloud, SoundCloud, all the clouds. If you're listening on YouTube, however you're listening to Surviving Vegan, we want to just say thank you so very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and family, and all of your loved ones, because we talk about real topics, real ideas, and give our real opinions on them. Okay.
Please comment below. Let us know how you feel, how you received our message. Let us know this.
Oh, yeah, and give us a 5-star rating, okay? If you can rate us in Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us 5 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And tell us how much you love it so we can have the motivation to keep going. All right, so.
What's up for the day?
How you doing?
I'm good.
You doing good?
You know, it's a lot going on.
Yep, and that's exactly.
Lot going on,
it's
y'all.
Episode number 12, and we are in the midst of a lot. And the other day, I just told you, I'm kind of give y'all a hint of what our topic is. We were riding in the car yesterday. I was just having an epiphany, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we was on lockdown for like 45 to 90 days. Nobody was going nowhere. And then as soon as, the bans or the, what they call it, stay-at-home orders started being lifted, it's a riot. We got a riot. So I'm like, can you imagine
how much pent-up energy? And, I'm going straight into it. Like, I'm not against what the people is doing. I'm not against how we feel. It is what it is. And you got to realize that this stuff is meaningful to us. Like we be like you said, we've been sitting at home for 3 months, and then y'all come out and do what y'all do to one of our brothers and expect us to just be quiet.
Yeah,
man. It's like he say, them young kids out there tearing it down. Salute, power to the people. All power to all the people.
So that's what I kind of want to talk about today. Where we are in our community, mental health is important. Right now we're dealing with the George Floyd protests, rebellions. Many of calling them rebellions because about 13 different cities, different states have joined. We even have international protests going on, different people from different cultures, and it's just the headline of the news. Last month we were talking about COVID-19, and now this month we're talking about rebellion. So 2020 is just like, golly.
Yeah, this is a we all knew that 2020 was going to be that year, but
we didn't know it was going to be like this.
We've been up and down, and right now I feel like we are down. We are down, but we just got to keep our spirits high, keep being strong throughout this process, and we're going to always prevail.
Right, use that energy that you're feeling within to direct that into things that are meaningful to you, instead of, I feel the anger, I feel the sorrow, I feel all of that we are feeling, but I'm directing that into my family, making sure my business is going well, putting our plans together, promoting black businesses, putting money back into black businesses. So I'm not saying that we're wrong for feeling that energy that we feel. We should feel hurt. We should feel angry, because if it was tapped into someone dear to me, I would say tear it down too. I mean, that's just the anger that would be built up. So I'm not faulting anybody for anything, but those of us who are not, family members, direct descendants of George Floyd, please let's try to direct our energy after the protest into positive things for our community. That's one of the biggest things that I see we have a problem with. We protested for Trayvon Martin. We protested for Eric Garner. We protested for Sandra Bland. We protested for all these people, but it's like it's an abusive relationship because we got right back into it, and it keep happening to our community. So I'm like, I'm not against the protest. I want to make sure we have the resources that we need to fall back on so we can be independent and self-reliant.
You have to be able to explain to the people as well, why is it a abusive relationship? Mm-hmm. But before you get into that, I want to let you know that it's all about strategy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we talk from a position that you have to heal yourself mentally, physically, spiritually to be able to think clearly. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times, like right now, I don't think everybody's thinking clearly. You know, I'm for what's going on. I understand the trauma that has been imposed on us, but you have to understand that we not thinking clearly.
I mean, but how can you think clearly?
Exactly.
You're traumatized.
You're fully traumatized. So it's no real way to fully think clearly. But like for me on the outside, and not even on the outside, but from the standing back from the point that I am at right now in my own self, in my own, how I've gotten to this point of guidance through myself and my family, I see that we lack strategy. And I have to relate that to my own personal life, because when I'm in the uproar and angry, I cannot strategize properly. And everything around me, it basically overwhelms me. Now, I make a easy correlation. When you see these officers or these polices come out with their riot gear on.
Police, not polices.
Police. But when you see them come out with their riot gear on, their helmets, this, that, they move as a unit.
Yeah.
They move as a unit. One thing you can say is they come out with a clear view and vision what they supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I can't say that about us at all times. We be so in the uproar and so emotionally distraught, and so much trauma has been bared on us that we ain't trying to hear nothing. We ain't trying to think clearly. We just trying to go, you know.
But I actually think that aspect is needed. We need the people that's on go, but like you said, it has to be a strategy. We got to have the intellectuals planning and preparing for the aftermath.
Exactly.
Like I said, that abusive relationship. You know, just think about a woman or a man in a domestically abusive relationship. They get away from the oppressor or the violent one, and then they get home and they thinking like, dang, he was the one providing for me. She was the one doing this for me. I'm going to go back. And that's how we get into that cycle of abuse. And we're in that cycle of abuse with our oppressor. So we have to clear it out. So I'm not against the people that can't think clearly,
Not
because
at all.
that's
Not
a
at
very
all.
important part of the movement. But our ancestors said, well, she's not an ancestor, but one of the black leaders, I can't even remember her name right now, I think it was Angela Davis, said, actually, violence is the last part of a revolution. But we you know, I think just kind of how we say our healing's supposed to look. We know how we say healing don't look like a straight line. That could be the same thing with the revolution. It's not a straight line.
No,
it's not get our resources together first, then we go.
It's
All
not.
this happening at the same time.
Agreed. And I was going to say, like, you know, it's levels. Just look at the Army. The Army is the Army. That's that first line of defense that goes out. Then you have the Navy or whatever it may be. It's always a hierarchy to it.
Yeah.
You know, and this is not to say anybody is lesser or greater than anybody. Each part of it is an attribute to the movement. You know what I'm saying? But my thing, from my standpoint, I'm big on strategizing. That's me. You know, I got warriors in the streets that's ready to go out there, and that's cool. I got homeboys just like that. Like they might not be able to strategize clearly, but when we put that dynamic together, where I got strategy plus that fearlessness of pushing, you take it over. So I'm big on the strategy aspect. I love that we are standing together to go and do something and make a movement, because this is what's gonna push the issue and push the lines. What I would say is, you know, you got to be strategic about what you're tearing down. That's my opinion. You got to know what to tear down and how to tear it down.
I personally have not seen any black people tearing up businesses that are black owned. Okay. That is the big thing. Like, oh my God, we're tearing up our businesses. You have to realize there is a gang called Antifa. I can't remember the actual jargon for that, but the acronym is Antifa, and you could Google that. I forgot the actual name of the group, but they're called Antifa. Google that for me and tell me the name. I think it's I don't get me the line. But anyway, the point is, they are out there coming to incite a race war. So we have a lot of white supremacists out there. We have a lot of people who just want to be in war with the government, and they are going around vandalizing buildings. They're burning down precincts. They even have footage of police officers, which has been obviously, it's not 100%, as I could say, we could say, yes, they have proved that there was a police officer, but there is information circulating on the internet that police officers, quote unquote, are also vandalizing. So you got to realize everybody wants us to be oppressed. So they have the opportunity to blame things on us. We even have the media showing white looters, okay? And they're not calling them looters. I saw a clip from the news station where there was a woman in Target taking clothes, putting it in her bag. You know what she said? She said, "Oh, wow, I hope that lady is an employee that works there." But if it was a black person, they would have been a looter. So you got to realize, like you tell me all the time, they control the media.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, yeah, all black people is tearing down the city, because that ain't true.
Agree.
That's not true.
I think that I definitely, going back to the Antifa, you said that they are people that want war with the government as well, things of nature. Now, I've heard this saying that the what is it? My enemy's enemy is my friend. That makes sense?
My enemy's
enemy
is my friend.
So that's what I've heard, but why I don't believe in that, because I know that people will say that, like, if they against the government, well, then I'm with them. But they don't be a part of the movement. They do not be a part of the movement. And if you're not a part of the movement, of what we are going, you're not my friend. You have your own agenda. And that's what we got to remember. Like, I saw a clip too. I think it was ATL, and I'm not here to bash, but they were walking with the police. I don't think I'm walking with no police. It's no way for me to sit there and walk with the police. If I'm out there, if I'm on front line, in which I was not on front line, I would definitely tell you that. But if I was out there on front line, I would.
Antifa is anti-fascists. That's what it means.
Okay, I've heard of that. If I was on it, I would not be talking about walking with the police. I'm out there for a mission. I'm not, at the end of the day, we can't expect for this system to bend and be for us later on. We have to create our own system moving forward.
That's
period.
We have tried to integrate. Martin Luther King tried to integrate. Martin Luther King, even before he was assassinated, said, "I fear that I have integrated my people into a burning house."
That's one of the things a lot of us know. I didn't know that until maybe 3 to 4 years ago, that was a statement from Martin Luther King. Why? Because the media controls the aspect of "I had a dream." They control the aspect of he wanted us to be one, which he did, but he didn't understand.
Until he got into his last years when he was in Time magazine and he was around all of these elitists, and he was like, oh, heck no, there's no changing this, because you cannot change a person's mindset.
Correct.
Okay? You cannot change their mindset. And this is who they've been throughout history. It's not me it's not me being like, racist or prejudiced.
It's not.
If we look at the historical facts.
Scientific facts. If you want to get deeper, I can get scientific with it. From the right brain, the right hemisphere to the left hemisphere. These are they right hemisphere? I think they're more right-sided than left-sided.
Right is creative, so they would be leftist.
They would be left-sided. And
they try to be logical about things.
Don't quote me on this, because I might be messing something up, but just understand that, like she said, they think a certain type of way, and that's who they are. It is what it is. And it's not nothing about racism. It's nothing about no love. It's nothing about none of that. This is scientific, proven evidence. And we've been put under their culture for hundreds of years now. So our society, as my culture, black culture, starts to shift into that mentality. That's why we act like them now. We live like them. We do things. We but it goes against our nature. It truly goes against our nature. So, like I say, it ain't nothing, no racism, no nothing. It is what it is.
If you look at, if you can even go and look at, what's the young lady name? It's called, hold on. See, I'm going to have notes next time. We wasn't planning on this, but I'm going to have notes next time. If you look at the sister who has the post-traumatic slave syndrome video, her name is, that's why they be having laptops when they do podcasts. I know her name, but I'm thinking about the other lady. But anyway, point is, go on Google and YouTube and search post-traumatic slave syndrome. Her name is Joy DeGruy. That's her name. It came to me. I got to take some brain potions so I can be right for my podcast. Joy DeGruy broke it down really well, and she actually talks about the beginning of this whole race, because in African civilization, there was not race. They acknowledged people by their region.
Exactly.
Okay? And Blumenberg, I think his name is Blumenbach, he is the one who started the race, was talking about separating the African and the Indian, the Asiatic type, and all these people.
And it was printed on the walls, on the walls in Egypt, ancient Kemet. It was printed on the walls that broke down what nationality was. What he said, it wasn't about race. It might have been by region, and it showed you the shades
and phenotype.
And a phenotype, correct?
Exactly.
That was the breakdown.
She talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome. She talks about the beginning of, the race type of ethics, and it's all it's made up. My ancestor, and I'm going to get into eugenics. That's one of the things that's always in the back of my mind, and I say I have to find time to get to. But my ancestor, Great Dr. Little Africa, said, people like to say, oh, we bleed the same, we're all the same, we're one race. But Dr. Martin Little Africa said we're not. They have two different types of melanin. They have sulfur melanin. We have selenium melanin. It's not the same. We did not come down the same lineage. It's not. Okay, so I am definitely interested in getting to studying that.
And just see, that's scientific. And the one thing that's not refutable is science. And they go by science. We go by face value in media. Mm-hmm. We have to get.
But you got to remember, we created science now.
And that's what I'm saying. And just go back to what we said earlier. By them controlling the media, they control content. They control what we see. They taught us all our life. We have that relationship of how I was just saying this today, like father to son or mother to daughter relationship. You understand what I'm saying? They are the hierarchy through the system that we create, which it shouldn't be like that, but that's what they've created for themselves, and that's what keeps them thriving, and that's what keeps their stuff living the way it lives. And our stuff we're living, number one, we're living, but to what extent are we living? And what umbrella are we living under? That's why we have to get to a point that we're able to create our own systems. And I know a lot of people do not, I think I talked about it, a lot of people do not believe that this is capable. We are capable of doing that.
We had our own structures. That's how they learned how to build their structure from ancient African civilizations. They didn't just come up with this grand democracy. Even the whole judicial system is from the Book of the Dead that they call it, but our ancestors created it.
Book of the Life. It's the Book of Life.
Exactly.
That's the true meaning of it. So it's a lot of
So
twists.
they took it's just sad because we don't know these things. If we knew the, history or true story, as some people say, of our people, we would be like, they're actually imitating us. We see it. That's why white women want to get fuller lips, bigger butts, dark skin, get the tans. They imitate us physically, but they imitate us as well throughout their systems. If you look and understand, even the Washington Monument is a tekenu, which is an African symbol. And this is not me being biased. It's not me being prejudiced. This is facts.
These are true facts
that you have
to go and learn.
We want to be like them. And as our great teacher, James Professor Smalls, said, the need to want to be like them has us imitating them.
Correct.
And that's okay.
Correct.
Only if we can understand and coexist together. We can't. We have tried to coexist.
That's what we have not been able to get to.
This protest, this rebellion is a cry of I'm just sick and tired. Like you cannot. I can't stand people that want to blame the oppressed. Like I have a reason to be mad. My ancestors went through 400 years in this country of chattel slavery. We went through Jim Crow. We went through segregation. We went through the civil rights era. We're going through the I Can't Breathe, Black Lives Matter. So don't tell me I cannot feel like this.
For real. Really think about that. 400 years. We only live 30 years on this earth.
Right.
We only live 30 years. Some other people that be watching might have lived 80, 70 years. 400 years of the same thing.
Generations after generations.
Yeah,
we're only 4 generations out of slavery.
That's nothing.
4 or 5 generations out of slavery.
That's me, my mama, my
grandmama, and her mama.
That's it. That's how far we out. So when you really, you have to lay it out for yourself like that
and view it. And it's not. Don't dare allow anybody tell you that you're wrong for talking about racism. It's over. It's long ago. No, it's a part of my history. We don't tell the Jewish to stop talking about the Holocaust. They would look at us and they would stop spending their money. They would leave. So don't tell me that I cannot talk about this. It's my history. It's a part of my life. If y'all didn't want me to talk about it, then you shouldn't have did it. All right,
Yes,
but
sir.
it has been done. It's a part of history. We have to acknowledge it. The longer we keep acting like it's not there, that's why we having these problems.
It's so funny that you brought the Holocaust up, because the other day I was talking to a close friend of mine, and we were speaking about, he brought up Christ, and he was just saying, you know, he reads the Bible a lot, and the Jews actually killed Christ. Was that, if I'm not mistaken, that was the situation that happened in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe in the Christ that have come down, the Son of God or whatnot. And then I feel like, but we live by, or our culture live by this Bible, but these people get as much as respect that they want to, but they don't believe in what we believe in. That, you know, so it's like we get stepped over in every aspect of life constantly.
And you think you were born for that?
Every day, where other people get their what's the word?
Recognition. Accolades.
You know, they get all of this, like, and that's not fair. It's nowhere near fair. So when you say they're fed up, we are fed up. We are fed up, and we're tired of trying to be something, be like you, and we can't even get there because why? The rules change every time we get to this point. If you're too many black males, black women get in a position, okay, well, we got to turn this around. We got to do something to get them. And even if it's not said like that, we know it's being done because systems change all the time.
And a lot of people say, we got to wait on God to step in. And I agree. The Most High will step in, but when we going to step in for ourselves, the Most High wait to see what we going to do because the Most High is within us. You got to realize that we have been taught to look outside of ourselves for a savior. And although I do believe there's a Most High, whichever narrative you want to put on that, but you got to realize if there's a Most High and we're an extension of that means the Most High is within us. So you can't expect, just like we tell children, how you going to expect to get good grades if you don't do what needs to be done? How we can expect for somebody to save us, aka good grades, and we don't even do what's done? We just lay down sometimes. And I think the children are like, no, that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. The children are the ones that's out there. Every video I see of people correcting racists, who are out there while people are trying to protest. I saw a video of some teenagers. They were probably like 17, 18 years old. I don't know what city it was, but they were on a car. It wasn't messing with nobody. They was riding down the street on their car, holding their signs, ain't saying nothing. They was filming on their phones. And alleged white supremacist says, F you. They heads turned so fast, they jumped out their car and they put that man in his place. Okay, so the children are like fed up. We say we want to say about our children. We say we want to say about the young community, but they the ones standing up right now. And I believe either was Philadelphia or somewhere, I'm not sure, they were pulling down a Confederate statue. Young people. I ain't seen not there 80-year-old, 70-year-old. They probably were out there, not saying, but on the video I saw young people pulling down. And there's nothing wrong with that
because, like we just said at the beginning, everybody has to play their role.
Yeah,
you supposed to have young, strong men and women that's going to go on front line and do what they need to do. And have the elders back there coaching, giving guidance.
And that's what we are we coaching them correctly?
I don't agree because I don't feel like I have been coached properly. So I'm still young. I'm 30. I'm turning 30. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still not getting coaching. That's one of the biggest things that me and the Queen talk about on a regular. We have no guidance. We learning this process on our own. Don't get me wrong. We do have our spiritual brothers and sisters that we can talk to and build with. But internally, we truly don't have guidance. We wasn't guided from youth to this point.
I was not told about we say guided. We're not talking about the basics like I was fed, clothed, and sheltered. We know our parents did that, and we thank them all the time for that. But I'm talking about I was not aware of this system before I was 18 or before I became an adult. I was not aware of white supremacy. I was not aware of racism. I was not aware. Like I probably experienced little things here and there.
Correct.
But I did not know that I had a veil over my eye. I didn't know.
Be direct by what you experienced as when you was in high school. I want you to tell them that story and how it made you feel.
Are you talking about what? Okay, so when I went to school, my school probably was 10 years old. So it was in I wouldn't say it was in a white neighborhood, but it wasn't in the black neighborhood either. It was in what you would call probably like a prestigious neighborhood. And I actually went there. I didn't live in the neighborhood. I lived in the inner city neighborhood, but I got bused there because I was in the magnet theater program. So by getting bused there, I got exposed to a lot. Majority of the students there at the time that I started going there were white. right? And it was, without me even knowing, without us even talking about it, the school was segregated. Like, yeah, you had to intermingle and every now and then, but I'm talking about when we was at lunch, the black people sat in the spill out or in the front, and the white people was like in the back. Even the way we parked our cars, even some of the classes, it wasn't no Negro was in no AP classes. You know, I had a couple of honors classes, and I started like not doing the work because I didn't want to be in there. I wanted to be around my people. But that is not something that I experienced, because when I went to middle school, elementary, I was in an inner city school, public school, with all people who look just like me. So to go and transition into that, I look back on that and like, I wish I would have took advantage of it, but because I was not prepared, my mom, my dad would have set me down like, listen, you about to go to this school. It's people that don't look like you there, but you there for education. Even though they told me this, but we have to be strategic with our children. You know, that wasn't given to me. I wasn't told about racism. I wasn't told about how, you know, our people are marginalized and we're mostly, you know, the ones that's going to prison, and they have the school to jailhouse pipeline. I wasn't told about none of that, and that's because our parents didn't know.
And get even more deeper, what happened when you went to that young lady's house?
Oh, she wasn't white. They were Russian.
It don't matter.
But they don't like us either. But they don't like us either.
You gotta look.
I went to, and this was like my first encounter with racism, because remember, all my friends was black before this, and I had to be like in the 9th or maybe 10th grade. So you know how you do the group projects, and I went to this young girl's house who was in my group. She was my same age. I went to her house. Her mom was there. Her dad wasn't there, but her little brother was there, and her mom had like, I was like probably like the only black person. I think everybody else was white. I think I was the only black person. And her mom had all of this food on the table, laid out, everything. So I was like, shoot, I'm going to eat it. She had sausages and everything, y'all. Y'all know I don't eat that stuff no more. But, yeah, she had all this stuff laid on the table. Her brother just kept looking at me. He probably was no more than about 8. He couldn't have been more than 8. I remember his haircut and everything. He had his haircut like that. He just kept looking at me. And I'm like, why is he looking at me? But to make a long story short, he ended up giving me a note. I opened the note. The note said, excuse me because I'm about to curse. The note said, get out my house, you bare black bitch. I'm like, bare? Well, first of all, what is a bare black bitch? Bare. That's what it said. You bare black bitch. When I told y'all I turned all the way up in that house, I turned up. And her brother ran in his room, and I remember being at the door, and that's all I remember. I don't remember nothing after that. I know I just called my mama. My mama had to come pick me up. But that was my real first experience. Mine was my real, and I was like, it still wasn't explained to me then. Like these, you know, there's such thing as racism and prejudice. That wasn't explained to me. I remember the only explanation I got was probably from her parents, like, oh, he doesn't mean it, or something like that. It was something like that. But these are things that happen in our community.
So you telling me your mom didn't sit you down, didn't explain to you what you're dealing with after an experience like that? That's trauma. Yeah. That is true trauma. Like
I don't even remember. Like I don't even think it was nothing.
Like that, how you know, and that's what I mean. Like strategy. That's part of strategy. Like you
can't let our children just go into that.
Yeah, and not teach them nothing. And I believe like I remember when I was 21, I was wild because I didn't have no guidance. Nobody directed me. So it's the same system. That's why I in my opinion, I'm very direct with my teaching to my younger brothers, to anybody, my friends and whatnot that come around me, because we have to start teaching each other and giving each other guidance. We can't keep sitting around each other and just being there in the midst of nothing.
Exactly, and that's why Dr. Martin Luther King said it's a burning house, because people don't even realize it. The civil rights era was like a Band-Aid, like on it. And then Martin Luther King was like, oh my God, I got everybody thinking we're going to integrate. But he got into the elitists. He was kind of trying to make moves. This is what I'm you know, kind of putting my spin on it. But go read his transcripts from his case. Coretta Scott King said, I'm not even finna play with y'all no more. Just read the transcripts. You read them transcripts, he was getting around, you know, the Rockefellers and all these people. Can you imagine those conversations? Him saying, this is my plan, my agenda for the black community. And they're like, agenda, you just got this. That's all you getting. So he started to realize and started to feel bad. And for us, unfortunately, that's why they silenced him, because he was about to talk about it. And because he has now integrated us to his burning house, he never got a chance to really get and spread that out to us. And now we think civil rights solved our problem. And I don't think so.
Y'all, it's deep.
It's deep.
It's deep.
I think we're going to do a part 2.
Yeah, I hope that.
We're going to do a part 2.
Hope that nothing we said offended anybody.
I hope
you know,
not.
And if it did, do you some real searching and figure out why it offended you. You know what I'm saying? Because we never gonna be here to tear nobody down. We always here to uplift ourselves and our community. And that's it. We love y'all.
Opinions.
I am Grizzly the King.
I am Surviving Vegan. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode number 12 of the I Am Surviving Vegan podcast. Peace, love, and light, family.
Love y'all.